Imagine the shock of uncovering a clandestine strategy cooked up by the brilliant minds behind Star Trek that birthed one of the franchise's most formidable antagonists. Now, doesn't that make you eager to dive into the story behind it all? When Star Trek Deep Space Nine burst onto screens in 1993, its creators, Rick Berman and Michael Piller, might have bitten off more than they could chew initially. The series unfolded aboard the eponymous space station. Perched right next to the war-torn planet Bajor, Bajor had just clawed its way out of a brutal extended military takeover by the ruthless Cardassians, and Starfleet stepped in to manage the station during Bajor's fragile recovery phase. Picture this. Federation officers with their idealistic values felt utterly misplaced in this alien environment, sparking all sorts of tension and personal clashes that kept viewers on the edge of their seats. But here's where it gets controversial. Because right next door, Starfleet stumbled upon a stable wormhole. For those new to sci-fi, a wormhole is like a cosmic tunnel that shortcuts vast distances in space, acting as a bridge to far-off places. This one opened a gateway to the mysterious Gamma Quadrant, a region untouched by Federation explorers. Suddenly, Bajor and Starfleet had a brand new playground of possibilities, filled with unknown wonders and potential dangers lurking in the stars. And this is the part most people miss. Dwelling within this wormhole were ethereal, godlike beings without bodies or a concept of time. These entities reached out to Commander Benjamin Sisko, played by Avery Brooks, in ways that many Bajorans interpreted as divine. As a result, Sisko transformed into a revered, messiah-like figure for them, blending spirituality with science fiction in a way that blurred lines between belief and reality. It took a full 2 seasons for the Deep Space Nine writers to unpack all these layers, and it wasn't until the 3rd season that fans met the Dominion, a vast, domineering space empire that acted as a sinister reflection of the Federation's ideals. This powerhouse, with its relentless drive to conquer, injected fresh life into the show, elevating its storytelling to new heights. In a fascinating 2018 retrospective for Sci-Fi Wire, executive producer Ira Steven Behr and writer Robert Hewitt Wolfe recounted the marathon brainstorming sessions that led to the Dominion's creation, all part of a covert plot to unveil a villain unlike anything in the Star Trek universe before. What makes this twist even more intriguing is how Behr and Wolfe slyly planted hints about the Dominion long before its big reveal. Deep Space Nine launched while Star Trek The Next Generation was wrapping up its run, positioning DS9 as the underdog sibling in a popular family. Eager to carve out its own identity, the team knew they couldn't rely on recycled elements from past Treks, like the Klingons or the original series. Behr emphasized that they needed a fresh adversary, something proprietary to DS9. He explained, "We brainstormed ways to invent a new enemy, a villain exclusive to our show, avoiding the pitfalls of past attempts, like the Ferengi, who started as villains on TNG but didn't pan out. So I suggested we develop 3 potential villainous species, hoping at least one would click. That's how the Dominion emerged. The quartet, Behr, Wolfe, and writers Pete Fields and Jim Crocker, kept their scheme hush-hush, not even cluing in Paramount executives, actors, or other producers. They dropped subtle nods, such as mentioning the Dominion in the episode Rules of Acquisition, without spilling the beans. This secrecy adds a layer of drama. Was it necessary for creative freedom, or did it risk alienating the studio? It's a debate that fuels fan discussions to this day. The Dominion had to stand out, and that's where the Gamma Quadrant wormhole proved ingenious. Wolfe pointed out that introducing threats from beyond the wormhole made the show's unique setting, straddling the Alpha and Gamma Quadrants, crucial. DS9 was at the galaxy's frontier, he said, so having major conflicts originate from the other side of the wormhole tied everything back to Bajor and the station. It couldn't just be about familiar foes like the Klingons. That story could happen anywhere in Federation space. Thanks to this approach, the series shifted from focusing solely on Bajor's recovery to exploring broader galactic politics. The Dominion itself was a sophisticated, multi-species alliance of conquerors, each filling a distinct role. At the top were the founders, ancient shape-shifting changelings who could infiltrate and deceive. Their cunning administrators were the Vorta, while the frontline warriors were the Jem'Hadar, fierce, genetically engineered soldiers hooked on a drug-like substance for loyalty. This intricate setup not only added depth, but also unified the show's narratives under the shadow of a pervasive evil force, preventing the story from feeling bloated. As Behr summed it up perfectly, once the Dominion appeared, everything clicked into place. Yet, here's a controversial angle. Some argue the Dominion's hierarchical structure echoes real-world empires, raising questions about whether Star Trek should mirror human history so closely, or if that's what makes its villains resonate. Do you think the secret plotting behind the Dominion heightened the excitement of its reveal? Or do you believe it was an unnecessary risk? And was the decision to make it a dark mirror to the Federation a stroke of genius, or did it undermine the franchise's optimistic message? Share your opinions in the comments. I'm curious to hear the debate.